Hello everyone. So here we are to begin with our 45 days revision of second PU mathematics for your upcoming annual examination. So before we start, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed it yet, then subscribe it and press on the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any notifications regarding the examination. So as we have discussed in the previous video, we have seen the blueprint of the annual examination and what chapters covers how many marks in the annual examination. And I have also said that we'll be starting our revision classes with the chapters matrices and determinants firstly. So in this video, let us start with the chapter matrices, and we move on with the other chapters as well in the coming days. So matrices will be asked for 9 marks in your examination. You'll get one question for 1 marks, that is in the MCQs. You'll get one question for 3 marks, and you'll get one question for the 5 marks. So from where do you get a 3 marks question and a 5 marks question? See, for 3 marks question, there are some of the theorems that we have proved. That is, if A is a symmetric matrix, then A plus A dash is symmetric, and A minus A dash, that means transpose, is skew symmetric. That theorem can be asked to prove in the examination. And we have seen another theorem that if A and B are symmetric matrices, then AB is symmetric if and only if A and B commute with each other. That is AB equal to BA. And we have seen other theorems as well, that is B transpose AB is symmetric and skew symmetric as according as A is symmetric or skew symmetric. We have seen that theorem as well. And you might have learnt about if A and B are symmetric matrices, then AB minus BA is a skew symmetric matrix. And there is another theorem that which shows that any square matrix can be written as sum of symmetric and skew symmetric matrices. Basically, proof of that theorem will not be asked. A question problem based on that theorem will be asked in the examination for 3 marks. So this is about 3 marks area in the matrices. And when it comes to 5 marks in the matrices, you can expect a question based on distributive property, associativity, and there are some matrix equations which are to be proved equal to zero matrix. So those questions can be asked for 5 marks. And for 3 marks, there is one more theorem based on the invertible matrices. That is, if A and B are invertible matrices, then AB whole inverse equal to B inverse A inverse. So these are some of the questions which can be asked for 3 marks as well as the 5 marks. And for 1 marks, you can expect a question based on order of a matrix, number of elements inside the matrix, construction of a matrix. All right. And there are some, some of the simple concepts which might come in the properties of addition and all. So you might get one question, 1 mark question from anywhere from the topic, right? You just need to be thorough with the concepts that we have in this chapter. Okay, so now let us start with it. So what exactly is a matrix? Matrix is an ordered rectangular array of elements. What is meant by rectangular array? Rectangular array means it is the arrangement of elements in horizontal as well as the vertical manner, so it can form a rectangle, right? For example, suppose that I have got 3 people, A, B and C, and they went to store to buy some pens as well as the pencils. Now I will ask you to represent this data systematically, that how many pens and pencils that A, B, C have got. So what will you do? You will be writing their names in the vertical manner, and you'll be writing what they have got in the horizontal manner, or you'll be writing what they have got in the vertical manner and their names in the horizontal manner. So this is how you represent, right? So suppose that A has got 10 pens, B has got 15 pens, C has got 20 pens. A has got 5 pencils, B has got 10 pencils, C has got 15 pencils. The same data can also be represented in this form, that is 10, 15, 20, 5, 10, 15, right? So as you can see, the data for pens is arranged vertically. The data for pencils also arranged vertically. The data for pens is arranged horizontally. The data for pencils is also arranged horizontally. So you can represent it in both the ways, right? So as you can clearly from this form, there is horizontal arrangement of the number of objects that I have bought. There is vertical arrangement of number of items that I have bought, and when you connect all of them, there is a formation of a rectangle. So this is what we say a rectangular array, right? So this rectangular array itself is called as a matrix, and they are denoted by using the uh, capital letters of the English alphabet, and they are represented inside the square brackets, right? So this is how I will write 10, 15, 20, 5, 10, 15. And how do you write this arrangement? This is written as 10, 15, 20, and 5, 10, 15. So here the horizontal arrangements are called as rows of the matrix, and the vertical arrangements are called as columns of the matrix. So these rows are denoted by R1, R2, R3, as this is the first row, this is the second, and this is the third. And the columns are denoted by C1, C2, as this is the first column and this is the second column of the matrix. So based on the number of columns and number of rows inside the matrix, we say what is the size of the matrix. That is, we say what is the order of the matrix. As you can clearly see in this matrix, there are 3 rows as well as 2 columns. So this matrix is said to be of order 3 cross 2. We will write the number of rows at first and then followed by number of columns. And as you can see in this matrix, there are 2 rows and there are 3 columns. So this matrix is of order 2 cross 3. And when we know the number of columns and number of rows inside the matrix, we can clearly say how many elements can be written inside that particular matrix. That is, see, there are 3 rows and 2 columns, which is of order 3 cross 2. When you multiply these two numbers, we are going to get 6. There are 6 elements inside the given matrix. As you can see here as well, there are 2 number of rows and 3 number of columns. When you multiply this, again we are getting a 6. So there are 6 elements inside the matrix. So from this concept we can expect a question in the examination. That is, see, what type of question can be asked. They will give you the order of the matrix and they will ask how many elements can be written in each row of a matrix or in each column of a matrix. See, for example, I will give you a matrix of order 4 cross 3 and I will ask you how many elements does each column of the matrix contain. Now let us see what a 4 cross 3 matrix look like. So 4 cross 3 in the sense we should have 4 rows and we should have how many columns? 3 columns. See, these are the 4 rows and suppose that these are the 3 columns. That is, here we are going to write some elements. We should only have 3 columns, right? So as you can clearly see, whenever the matrix is of order 4 cross 3, we can insert 4 different elements or 4 elements in each column of a matrix, or we can insert 3 elements in each row of a matrix. Hope everybody is understanding this, right? So whenever we are given the order of the matrix, the number of columns in the matrix will tell me how many elements can be written in the row, and number of rows in the matrix will tell me how many elements can be written inside the column, right, in the each column. So based on this concept, you might get a question for 1 mark. And what is the next type of question that you'll be getting for 1 mark? They will give you number of elements inside the matrix. Suppose that there are 12 number of elements and they'll ask you what are the possible orders of the matrix. That is, what are the number of possible orders of the matrix, right? So if a matrix will have 12 number of elements, what might be the order of the matrix? See, as we have seen, when we know the order of the matrix, if we just multiply those two numbers, we are going to get the number of elements inside the matrix. In the same way, when we have the number of elements inside the matrix, find two numbers whose product is 6, which is 3 and 2 as well as 2 and 3. So the possible order of the matrix can be 3 cross 2 or it can be 2 cross 3. So in the same way, when the matrix has 12 number of elements, find two numbers whose product is 12. So the first thing is 1 into 12. The second thing is 12 into 1. I can write 3 into 4. I can write 4 into 3. I can write 2 into 6, or I can write 6 into 2. So these are the possible orders which a matrix can have with how many number of elements inside it? 12 number of elements inside it. As you can see here as well, so there are 6 number of elements inside the matrix. It is not that the matrix will be of order 3 cross 2 or 2 cross 3 only. It can be of order 1 cross 6 and it can be of order 6 cross 1 as well. So how many number of possible orders do we have? We have got 4 possible orders. And how many number of possible orders did we get here? We have got 6 possible orders for a matrix. So this type of question can also be asked in the examination regarding the order of the matrix, right? So what exactly order gives us? Order gives us the number of rows and number of columns inside the matrix, and based on this concept we can say how many numbers can be inserted inside the matrix, okay, as well as we can say how many elements does each column contains, how many elements does each row contains, and when we know the number of elements inside the matrix, we can easily say what will be the possible orders of the matrix. So based on this concept, we can get 1 mark question in the examination, right? So next, moving on, let us see how a matrix is generally represented. Suppose that we have got m number of rows and n number of columns. How to write this matrix in general, right? We don't even know what are the elements. I'm just writing an arbitrary element inside the matrix which has got m number of rows and n number of columns, and as you can see, it should have how many number of elements? Mn number of elements. So let us see how do we write this. So this m cross n matrix is represented like this. We write a11, a12, so on, a1n, a21, a22, so on, a2n, so on, am1, am2, so on, amn. So this is how we represent a matrix of order m cross n with how many number of elements? Mn number of elements. And these subscripts of each element will represent in which row and in which column of the matrix that particular element is present. So A11 is an element of the matrix in the first row and first column. A12 is an element of the matrix in the first row and second column. In the same way, AMN is an element of the matrix in the mth row and nth column. So this is in a compact manner. You can write it as element aij m cross n, where this I will give you in which row the element is present, this j will give you in which column the element is present. And if I write I and j, I from 1 to m and j from 1 to n, this can be expanded in this form. So this is how we represent a matrix in a general form. Hope everybody understood this. So what can we do with this general form of a matrix? With this general form of a matrix, we can construct a matrix of any kind of order that we are given, when we know what particular element can be written inside the matrix. For example, now I will tell you that I need to have a 3 cross 2 matrix, that is a matrix with 3 number of rows and 2 number of columns whose elements look like I divided by j. So what am I going to do? See, when I say a matrix of order 3 cross 2, it should have how many number of elements? 3 number of elements. And it should have how many rows? 3 rows. And how many columns? 2 columns. So let us write this. See, there are 3 rows. And how many columns should we have? There must be two columns. So this is one column, this is second column, this is first row, this is second row, and this is third row. And what type of elements you're gonna write in this matrix? See, this is the first row, so element will be in the first row and first column, that is A11. This element remains in the first row but in the second column, A12. Next I'm gonna write A21. Next I'm gonna write A22. Next I'm gonna write A23. Sorry, A31. Next I'm gonna write A32. So this is how we are going to construct a 3 cross 2 matrix where this subscript represent where in which row and which column the element is present. The same subscript is for this. If I substitute I and j here, I'm gonna get A11, A12, A21, A22, A31, A32. So let us do that. I and j, I is 1, j is 1 in the first element. So it will be equal to, see, it is 1 by 1, answer is 1. Here it is 1 and 2, so answer is 1 by 2. Here it is 2 1, so 2 by 1 is 2. Here it is 2 2, answer is 1 again. Here 3 1, answer is 3. Here 3 2, answer is 3 by 2. So this is a 3 cross 2 matrix with this element, which can be constructed by using the general representation of a matrix. And this can also be asked in the examination for 1 mark as well. They will give you an element aij equal to something, and they will give you order of the matrix, and they'll say what can be this matrix, and they'll give you 4 options. You need to check for it and write the correct answer for it. So we'll finish it today with this much. You go and take your NCERT textbook and practice questions based on this, based on order of the matrix and based on the construction of a different order matrix. Okay, and we'll again meet in the next video with the next part of the chapter. Okay, so again, if you like this video, then please like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel, and don't miss out on this revision, so that we together can put all the efforts and score 80 out of 80 in the annual examination. Thank you.